Hey guys, and welcome back to Kelly TV. I am freaking out right now because this is the moment in just a few days that we have waited on for years.
Okay.
Like 4 years. Have you actually grasped this? I mean, we're going to find out who Charles is / a Black Widow, Red Coat. Is this real life? Is this real life? I think it is, guys. I really think it is. So I really like this episode. Now, we didn't find out like a lot of stuff that was like really like in your face and blatant, but I think we did find out a lot of stuff because when I watched it a couple of times, I was like, oh my gosh. And because of this, I have almost 30 pages of notes about this episode. So get ready. I think this is going to be an epic video. So the episode starts out with the liars talking about going to their prom, and sadly, they're uninvited to their own freaking prom, which I do feel is kind of sad and kind of ridiculous, to be honest. Not only that, they've been uninvited to their own graduation. Really? Like, really? I mean, Spencer is the valedictorian. So anyway, because of this, they decide they still need to have some kind of prom, so they're going to have like a makeshift prom get-together thing and still wear their dresses and the tuxes and stuff at the Hastings barn. So, I mean, I guess that's okay, but of course it doesn't really end up that way. The girls are still being ridiculous, and they think that Reese is Charles. Like, hello. Man Candy, aka Lorenzo, is ignoring Allie, and yes, I have seen that post that he has now deleted on Instagram. Let's just don't get started on that because I just don't have time in this video. So Allie gets a super special invite over text to go to the actual Rosewood prom, and it's from her brother, and she's like, no, I can't go. So some good news, Aria did win that photograph or picture contest, art contest, with her own actual work. So she's going to be interning in LA this summer, which that's good for her. So Ezra agrees to come to the fake barn prom with Aria, which I guess is nice of him. So here we go with Caleb, who is really, to me, the main focus of this episode, and I will explain all of this as we go on in this video. So he's headed to New York because he claims his dad needs some help with some work he's doing there. Now, Hannah notices an industrial-strength laptop in his trunk, and she's right to ask him, like, dude, what's up with that? He gives her a lame excuse that the laptop is for his dad, but if you watch that several times, you'll get that he's totally not telling the truth. Sarah is being her usual lame self in this episode, but Em asks her to go to the prom anyway, and she conveniently has some work to do with the A-team. I mean, she has to go to her prom at her old school, or so she says. Does anyone believe her? I don't. I'm really starting to think she is part of the A-team. Toby is suspended after being stoned on the job. I think we all saw that coming. And Hannah is very smart. She's been so smart this entire season. She is not buying the lies that Caleb is feeding her. She thinks he's out tracking A. I think he's out being A. More on that in just a little bit. So Charles calls Allie, but like he doesn't say anything, but she's pretty sure it is him because it's from like a blocked ID, and it looks like he's like standing outside her house while he's calling her. But she's like, look, Charles, I can't go to the prom. I'm so sorry. Well, that is not the answer that he wants to hear. So Spencer tells Man Candy to give Allie another chance because, you know, she's a wounded, sad person, which, you know, she really is. But he's like, I'm not feeling that right now. My favorite part of this episode has got to be the moms who decide to have their own little get-together after Spencer's mom invites them to get together, and they all have like 5 too many drinks, especially Spencer's mom, and it starts to get pretty crazy as the episode goes on. Allie decides to do the thing that any smart person wouldn't do, and she decides to go to prom anyway. I've got to say, she looked absolutely gorgeous in this episode in her prom dress, and I've probably never seen her look prettier. Thumbs up if you agree. That she's leaving her house, and there's the creepiest red-caped person watching her. And I say creepy because they have this scary mask on, like straight out of a scary movie. It's really weird, and they follow her as she leaves. I'm not so sure that's Charles or one of Charles's minions, but you know. So, Spencer's mom, let me tell you, she is the best character, in my opinion, in this episode by far. She drinks and drinks, and she starts spilling all kinds of secrets, like the fact that Jason isn't Mr. D's kid, which we all knew, but I'm not sure if all the other moms knew this. Now, she is either, like, really drunk, or she is kind of pretending to be more drunk than she is, because I feel like there might be an ulterior motive here why she wanted to get all these women together. She's telling them a lot of things that she wouldn't normally say, And to be honest, she's acting in a way that I don't think any of us have ever seen her act before. So while at the barn prom, Ezra's phone gets a notification. He's away from his phone. Arya happens to see it. She sees that he has a flight that's coming up. Looks like it's going to be in LA. So some characters we haven't heard of in like maybe 20 years are brought up in this episode, which I think is important and I think is a clue. We hear that Noel, Jenna, and Lucas are at the prom, but sadly we never see any of these people. You better bet they were mentioned for a reason. So the theme of the Rosewood prom is so creepy, and I know I wouldn't want my prom to have that theme. I don't even know what the theme was, but it's dark, it's like Halloween, and there are so many people wearing red capes, so it's super confusing. Thumbs up if you thought that was really odd, because I did. Anyhow, the liars are looking at Facebook or something like that on their phones, and they happen to see Allie in the background of a picture, so they're like, oh my gosh, she is at prom. So of course they all have to go there to save her. Clark is at the prom and he's taking pictures, and Arya is like, you know, this is not right. This is really weird. You're in college. What is up with that? She confronts him. She's like, I know you were at that old doll factory. Like, what is going on? But then someone interrupts him before he has a chance to answer. Charles keeps texting Allie little clues about how he can, or how she can find him at the prom. M's mom says something that I feel makes so much sense. I feel like it was one of the most important things maybe she's ever said on Pretty Little Liars. And she said that she believes Charles may not be the person to completely blame for all the bad stuff that A has done. I'm with her on that. If you watched any of my live shows or any of my videos, you know that I think Redcoat is the person pulling the strings, manipulating or perhaps blackmailing Charles into doing some of the things that he has done. She also thinks, which I found very interesting, that Mr. D killed his own wife. Now we're talking about Allie's father killing her own mother. Now it's not a bad idea, but Veronica thinks they should go ask him like right then, like that night. So all the moms go over to Kenneth's house. So Sarah shows up at the Rosewood prom anyway. Now does anyone think that is weird? She goes up to M, she's like, look, I just wanted to have one dance with you, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so she didn't know that M was going to be at prom because M was supposed to be at the barn prom, so who believes that? I think she was at prom because she had A-team work to do. Then she kind of freaked out when she saw M there, and she was like, you know, I've got to go say something to her so, like, I don't blow my cover. Surprisingly, Kenneth's house is unlocked. Not only that, there's an unfinished drink and a book, like, on his table, so it appears that someone came in and surprised him and did either one of two things or maybe both things. Kidnapped him, or killed him, or kidnapped him and killed him. Thumbs up if you agree with me. But there is someone there who shouldn't be there, and that is Reese. Now, I still haven't figured out exactly who this person is. I still think there's a chance he could be a De Laurentiis relative, like, honestly. However, the moms automatically think that this person is Charles, which, obviously, no, hello, the biggest red herring of them all. But what do you guys think about Reese? What do you think his role is? I'd love to hear what you have to say about that. So there is an envelope on the table that's part of police evidence, and in that envelope there's that picture we've seen like a million times now that has Mrs. D and the two little boys, and she's holding the baby. Obviously that picture is so important. I would love to hear what you think the importance is. I mean, we know that obviously one of those kids is Charles, or so they've led us to believe, but why do they keep showing that to us a million times? Let me know what you think down below. So guess who else showed up at prom when we didn't think they would be there? Yeah, Caleb. He looks really nice. He's acting even nicer. And I was on Twitter tweeting that like he's boyfriend goals, relationship goals. I was really blindsided when I watched this episode. But then after the episode ended, I started thinking about him. And I was like, you know what? He is the perfect boyfriend. Oh my gosh, he is the perfect boyfriend. If you've watched any type of mystery shows before, the person who ends up being the main villain is never the person who looks shady the entire season, okay, or the entire series. When does Caleb really look shady? When has he been a super terrible boyfriend? Yeah, I know he's had some problems with drinking and stuff, but lately he's been like boyfriend of the year, and usually it's the person we trust the most. When does the show try to make us think that he was A? Yeah, they haven't. And there's so many little clues about Caleb, and I want you to watch this episode again if you haven't, and you will catch them. Because Hannah said she called Caleb's dad, and I didn't really catch this the first time around, but she called Caleb's dad, who's in New York, and he said Caleb was never there. She mentions this to Caleb. Caleb was like, oh yeah, I was there. Okay, we still don't know exactly what he was doing there, but he gives us a story a little bit later. Now, we found out some information from Reese that I thought was pretty important, and that was that Mrs. D was one of the big backers of that Kara Simi group. So again, this is all connected because they're the people who gave Hannah that scholarship. Sarah has an important line also at the dance. When she's dancing with Emily, she tells her that she wants Emily to know that whatever happens, Emily means a lot to her. I feel like she's definitely foreshadowing something. I think she either is in on it or knows that something bad is going to happen, and she wants to let her know that, you know, I do actually care about you. My feelings for you aren't fake, but, you know, like I'm involved in something bad. What do you think about that? Do you agree? Thumbs it up. So Aria tells Ezra that she doesn't want him to come and follow her to LA while she's on that internship, you know, because she saw that phone notification, and he's like, yeah, I'm just there for a layover. This was a very weird part of the episode. He's apparently going to Thailand, which at first I was like, now that's shady, and that sounds like something that Charles would do. But then I was thinking, okay, so remember Nicole, who was Emily's friend, who showed up at the brew, and they started talking, and then it looked like they were kind of dating, and then he totally denied that. Well, he says he's going to Thailand to work on a habitat project, which is what Nicole is going to do this summer. So very odd that there's something going on with the two of them, and he's kind of trying to hide it. What do you think about him going to Thailand? I want to know your thoughts. I'm asking you guys a lot of questions, and I want to see a lot of comments because this is it. This is the episode before the big reveal. This is your time to get those theories out there, to tell me what you think. I mean, come on, this is our last few days to do this like ever. So, back to the moms. They hear a noise in Kenneth's basement, and, you know, of course, they all go down there. And then, of course, someone closes the door and totally locks them in, and they actually never get out of the basement, even when the episode is over. Who do you think did that? I mean, obviously, the number one choice would be Reese, but that's probably just too easy. I want to point out here that I'm for sure there are several people working with the A-team, because we have someone who is luring Allie at the prom, okay? We have someone who's doing stuff at Kenneth's house. We have someone who's kidnapped Mr. D. There are several people involved, and I know that we know there's a Black Widow, a Redcoat, and a Charles, but I think there's more people as well. What do you guys think? So Caleb tries to explain this whole New York thing, and I got so caught up when I was watching the show and how romantic it was that I forgot to really listen to it and be logical and be like, you know what? He is not telling the truth. He says that he's going to get a job there, that he actually signed papers. And when Hannah asks him, like, what is this company? And it's some kind of, like, computer tech company, you know? He's like, you know, I don't even know the name. Really? So you apply for a job, and you get hired, and you have no clue who you're working for, what the company's name is? Lie, okay? Then he says he wants her to move in with him in a place in New York, and he's going to pay for her tuition. So I was all like, oh my gosh, tweeting about it, like, oh my gosh, he's amazing, blah, blah, blah. And I wasn't even seeing the big, huge red flags with all his freaking lies. And guys, I really think that he could be Charles. If you go back and look at old episodes, there are some things that stick out. And I can't mention all of them because we'll be here all day. But he ran away from a foster home. Charles escaped from Radley. Someone has been supplying him with money. He claims it's his mom. We know Mrs. D would be doing that for Charles. He has a shady past. No one really knows his family. He could be lying about his age. I have no clue how old he is, but he could be Charles's age and be pretending to be in school. I don't even think he's in school anymore. If you think he is A, please leave your thoughts down below. Everyone has said who is in the cast that this is going to be a very shocking reveal, and you know, there's only a few characters I think who would really shock us and really upset us, and I think he is one of those. On the other hand, before you go ahead and type me a comment, if you have seen the promo for next week's episode, you will see that Charles is apparently going to jump off the roof of a building. All of the girls are surrounding him, telling him, let's don't do that, blah, blah, blah. But Hannah calls him a bitch, which I think would be very strange for her to say that to Caleb. And then the way the girls are reacting, it doesn't seem like it's someone who they really care about, but they could be doing this to fool us. I just feel like there's only a few people who Charles could really be at this point, and right now my main suspect is Caleb. So since everyone thinks that Clark is a super villain, they totally missed the chance to chase possibly Charles, who's at prom, but they all gang up on Clark, only to find out that he's an undercover cop, and I never called that. Did you guys call that? If so, you should thumbs up and give yourself a pat on the back, because I didn't see that coming. However, I will point out, I think it's very strange that he was focused on Arya. Why did he stick to her the entire time? Why didn't he try to talk to other people? What do you think about that? I still hope, because I want one of the liars to be involved, I still have hope that she's somehow involved, or maybe she has a twin who's involved. I feel like there's really something going on there. So, one of the best parts of this show, except for this episode, except for the moms, was the ending, because we think that Allison finally comes face to face with Charles. She finally is alone with the person in a red cape, and they take off their mask. Now, some things I want you to think about here. When they take off their mask, when she looks at them, she knows the person. You can tell by the look on her face. It's not a stranger. It's not someone she's never seen before. She is shocked. And I personally think this was not Charles. I think it's a good possibility it was a girl. I think it was one of Charles's minions, possibly Redcoat, because I still think he could have been with the girls, okay, or still part of the prom. I think this person is one of his people, and she knows this person. My ideas about who this could be: Mona, even Maya, because somebody's coming back from the dead. Cece, what do you guys think? Or maybe you think it was actually Charles. So I'm curious to see what you think about that, but that's what I think. I don't think it was him. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about now, so pay attention. First of all, I wanted to do a giveaway for you guys. You guys have been beyond awesome coming to my live shows, my live Periscope broadcasts, watching my videos, supporting my channel. You guys are awesome. So I love the Ellen show. I don't know about you, but I just think she's amazing. And she actually has a website or a store where you can buy like all kinds of cool Ellen merch. So I have a $100 gift card for her store that I would like to give to one of you. The rules are super simple, and I will be picking a winner by the time my next recap video, the recap video for the finale, that's when I will announce the winner. So this is how you play. I want you to tell me and just give me one guess of who you think Charles is, okay? So I just need one person. I can't accept it if you say like 5 people or top 3 suspects or whatever. And then I want you to hashtag it in the comments, I want to win, so I know that's your entry. Because if you just want to tell me who Charles is but you're not interested in the gift card, that's totally fine. So again, pick one person who you think Charles is, you put their name, and then you say hashtag I want to win, okay? Now, to be eligible, you will have to be right, okay? So whoever is right, I will put your names into random number generator, which is online, and then I will select a winner randomly that way. Now, here's my side note on this. If by chance they trick us and they don't really tell us who Charles is, if Charles is someone we've never seen or heard before, so no one could have guessed it, everyone who enters, I will put your name in the random number generator and pick a winner, okay? So think really hard about who you think Charles is, because I do think they are going to let us know who he is. All right, so for next week, I have 4 live shows, because this is supposed to be, obviously, the best PLL episode we will probably ever see. Now, the times of those I will tell you now, but if you follow me on Twitter or look in the description box, you will see it written out. So I will have my first show on Tuesday, the day that PLL airs. It's going to be before the episode airs. 4 o'clock Eastern on Tuesday is my first show. On Wednesday, I will have a 4 o'clock Eastern time and 6 o'clock Eastern time show. And on Thursday, I will have a 4 o'clock Eastern time show. I would love for you to be to all of them. They're always different, even though it's the same week, because different people come and we discuss different things, and they've been pretty amazing lately. If you don't follow me on Twitter, this is the way to really know what's going on with me and to keep up with everything. It's Kelly_TV. And that information is in the box down below. And because you're following me on Twitter, you can also follow me on Periscope, where I'm going to be doing something really cool the night of the finale. Periscope is a free download. If you're on Twitter, you can download Periscope on your tablet or phone. It is very easy to use. It allows me to do a live show and talk to you, because you can make comments and I can see them on the screen. Because this finale is going to have 3 huge reveals, and maybe even more reveals than we could even think of, I'm going to be on Periscope during the entire East Coast airing of the finale. So that means I will be on there. You can see my reactions live. You can, message me live on there, okay? So I would love to see you join me. I understand some of you aren't in East Coast time or not even in the US, so I'm considering adding some more Periscopes to the schedule for next week, and I will tweet that information out, so please follow me so you can keep up with that. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention: if you do enter the giveaway, I need you to be subscribed to my channel so that I can contact you if you win. So please subscribe. Again, choose one person who you think Charles is, hashtag it I want to win in the comments so that I can get you entered. Okay guys, so I'm going to let you go, but I cannot believe that we're going to find out so much stuff in just a couple of days. Like, really cannot believe. I can't wait to see all of your comments on this video. I will reply to all of you. And I love you guys so much, and I love that you've been on this journey with me, and I really appreciate your support. So I'll see you next time when we know who Charles is, or at least when I do a recap video, we will.